The view that multinational business has assumed a form over the last half-century that is endangering democracy is no longer a plaint made only by those on the left of politics, but has gone global. The COVID pandemic and government actions to protect economies from the effect of lockdowns, needed to prevent wider spread of infection and fatalities, has stripped the last masking layer off the reasons for growing inequalities in wealth, and therefore its influence over governments and societies, by nakedly and almost instantaneously accelerating the size of the inequality gap not just between rich and poor countries, but between the rich and everyone else within countries. One effect of the pandemic was to increase the wealth of billionaires in the U.S. by close to $640 billion to a total of more than $3.5 trillion, the largest gainers being owners and investors in the technology sector, social media companies, providers of conferencing platforms, and digital retailers such as Alibaba, Amazon, JD.com, and Pinduoduo. Oxfam says that the 10 richest people in the world doubled their combined net worth in the pandemic, putting more into their hands than the combined wealth of the 3.1 billion people at the other end of the scale. But the pandemic leap of billionaire wealth was not a new phenomenon. It was merely a sharp acceleration of a trend that has been rising steeply since 1980. In the period since that year, U.S. billionaires have increased their wealth by 1,130%, which is over 200 times more than the rise in median wages. In the same period, their taxes, measured as a percentage of their holdings, dropped by 78%. These are staggering figures. What happened in the 1980s to trigger this process? A major factor was the implementation of ideas that underlay Reaganomics in the U.S. and were adopted elsewhere, notably in the policies of Margaret Thatcher in the U.K. Ronald Reagan became president in 1981, and his policies reversed the consensus that had arisen after the First World War, and especially under F.D. Roosevelt in the 1930s, that government has an important economic role to play in society by regulating markets to guard against excessive fluctuations that could cause collapses such as the 1929 Wall Street crash and subsequent Great Depression, and by investing in public programs and providing welfare to soften capitalism's harsher effects on those less able to benefit from it.